Order, order, order. This is the count the. Okay, let's see. Order, order, order. This is the first council of the Pizza Planet. What's her name?
The Pizza Planet Literary Society.
Of the Pizza Planet Literary Society.
Order.
Order. So this is a literary society made up of 2 members.
Can we still be a society if it's just the 2 of us?
We're gonna be a society. Nobody can tell me what I can and can't be.
I like that. This is why we're a society.
So, in this, we're just gonna pick books and we're gonna read them and we're gonna talk about them to each other. And you're just kind of listening. You're just kind of this omnipotent thing that just hears our conversations. Hi, I don't know who's listening to this, but hello.
Hello.
My name is Mickey, if you don't know.
My name is Sam.
And we are 2 friends who like things.
Yes, we like a wide range of things.
So this week we are talking... Oh, wait, whoa.
I was going to say from like highbrow to very, very trashy things.
I'm almost done with the first Twilight book, and it's not that bad. It's pretty, like, it's not well written, but it's not that bad.
It's interesting because, like, there is kind of like this little like renaissance going on with Twilight, you know? I don't know. I'm seeing it. I mean, I'm on Tumblr a lot, and I'm seeing a lot of it on Tumblr. So you have people like making gift sets and, you know, doing like their little essays and stuff, or just saying like, yeah, I like this movie. It's not that bad.
That's me, Sam. I made like 20 accounts.
Oh, so it's only you.
I'm just having conversations with myself.
You were single-handedly responsible for the Twilight Renaissance right now.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Okay, this week, well, our first book that we're going to cover is Stephen King's Pet Sematary.
Yes.
And I'm going to read the back of it because I have a newfound respect for people who write these things. So the back says, "Sometimes dead is better." When Dr. Lewis Creed takes a new job and moves his family to the idyllic
yes.
and rural town of Rudlow, Maine, this new beginning seems too good to be true. Yet, despite Ludlow's tranquility, there is an undercurrent of danger that exists here. Those trucks on the road outside the Creed's beautiful old home, travel by just a little too quickly. For one thing. Crap, I read that wrong. Okay. For one thing, as evidenced by the makeshift pet cemetery out back in the nearby woods. Then there are the warnings to the Lewis, both to the Lewis? Yeah. Oh, to Lewis. I can't read. Sam, keep going.
Then there are the warnings to Lewis, both real and from the depths of his nightmares, that he should not venture beyond the borders of this little graveyard. A blood-chilling truth is hidden there, one more terrifying than death itself, and hideously more powerful. An ominous fate befalls anyone who dares tamper with this forbidden place, as Lewis is about to discover for himself.
Nice. Okay, so we read the first 7 chapters and the intro.
Yes.
So, Sam, what did you think?
Well, so far so good. This is the first Stephen King book I'm reading. I'm kind of a low-key Stephen King fan. I liked It. I've seen both movie versions of It, and I like them both. It's
the miniseries, Sam.
Oh, well, actually, are we gonna have to talk like that because we're a literary society and not a book club? Actually, Samuel, Stephen King's It was actually made to a miniseries. Back in, I'm not gonna do that anymore. Fine. I liked the original miniseries, and then I liked the first part of the 2-part movie. Couple that they're doing. I don't know what to call that. I liked it. I've liked. It turns out that I've liked a lot of different Stephen King stuffs, and then in
Yeah.
hindsight, I didn't realize they were Stephen King. Um, like I had no idea he wrote Shawshank Redemption or The Green Mile for like years. Um, so yeah, that was kind of interesting when I found that out. But yeah, so this is my first. I've never seen the Pet Sematary movie, and I did see the trailer for the new movie that's coming out, and I think that's why we started this to get to just like yeah, like let's finally do it. We're finally gonna read this. So yeah, so far I'm really digging it. I really like it. It kind of like gets you. So I like it. I like his introduction.
Oh
Because
yeah.
he tells you like how he came up with the story, and surprisingly, like a lot of the beginning, like these whole like what like first seven chapters, he kind of covers it in the introduction. Like this is pretty on par with how he like actually decided to like come up with the story. I just really quickly, I really love. I for some reason I've always thought it was like pretentious when people would like put like quotes from other things at the beginning of their book. It's like you're just stealing from like what other people have said. Like I don't know why. That's just the thing that I've thought. But I really like that he like paraphrases from a part of John's Gospel, and I don't know. I thought that was really cool. It's kind of creepy.
It is kind of creepy. Death is a mystery, and the burial is a secret.
Ooh, chills.
Ooh.
That should be on a. That should be like on a movie poster. That should be on here too. I know like sometimes dead is better. Like I like that. That's really good. But death is a mystery and burial is a secret is very underappreciated. It should be synonymous with this book.
I think it freaked me out how close his life is to the book. He just like took his life,
Yeah.
and just kind of like adapted his life and like made horrific things happen. Like because he understands that some people think The Shining is his scariest book, and but he says this is his scariest book. That this is something that he wrote, and then he was like, oh, that's fucked up, and he put it away. And like he didn't mean for it to get published, and then at the end, like crazy around it happenstance it did.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I like that, and it just makes it kind of crazier. And I it's weird looking at it through that perspective. And I've seen the movie, the original movie.
Okay. Yeah.
So I know what happens. I had a little bit of the book spoiled for me.
Okay.
Because I had that thing happen to me that happened to one of our friends that happened to our friend Hunter, where I went up to someone and I had the book in my hand and they're like, oh, you're reading the book, isn't it crazy that this happens? And I'm like, what? And I was like, I'm obviously not done, and what you told me is like the last page.
Oh man.
Like, Jesus Christ.
What is okay? Pause from that from talking about this book for a second. Why do people feel the need to just spoil things for other people? Sometimes it's on. Sometimes it is intentional, and those people are just assholes. But why do what is it in people's heads where they're like, oh yeah, it's really cool. Like when it gets to this part, I'm gonna admit I did that. I did that. I don't know if you remember this, but I did that with our friend Gracie.
For what?
Back in high school, when you lent her Astonishing X-Men.
Oh no!
And I started talking about the end with Kitty Pryde, and I was like, yeah,
she's just staring at you like
it was so crazy, and she was nodding her head, and she was shaking, she was like, yeah, and then I finished talking, and she was like, yeah, I don't think I've gotten to that part yet, and I was like, oh no, okay, no, bye. I took off. We were in class, and I left Hernandez's class. I was like, I can't be here anymore, Hernandez. I'm so sorry. So
class,
I don't know.
I have to be excused. Why? Embarrassment.
Embarrassment. So yeah, I don't even know if Gracie remembers that, and I'm bringing up painful memories. So Gracie, if you're listening to this, I apologize. I hope that we're still friends. But yeah, I don't like. So aside from my very bad past, spoiling things for people, at least I wasn't like one of these people that like spoiled. Remember when Harry Potter was coming out and like
Oh,
spoiled
people
some pretty
drove
big.
by and like were
Yeah,
yelling stuff
they were
out. Yeah.
shouting like, like this person dies, and you're like, what? What the? Thanks, man. Screw you. Like I don't know. People like some people just get off on like having that power, and it sucks when like those people, some of those people aren't even into the like that fandom, or like they don't read that book. You know, it's like people just drive by, just be like, oh yeah, Jon Snow died. Be like, what? Clearly, I haven't watched it because I'm still at work, sir. It's queued up on my DVR, all right, and you fine. I mean, I read the book, but I was hoping in HBO that they were like, oh, maybe they're not gonna do it, and then they did. I was like, oh, no, they did. So that's 2 times that I've cried. Both over Jon Snow. Okay.
Okay, just trying to get back to the book for a second.
I'm so sorry. Yes.
Okay, so here's something that we talked about earlier, and like we tried not to have a conversation about this until we got to the podcast. We tried really hard, but I had to tell Sam something that for some reason Louis Creed is just the biggest asshole in the world, and like it caught me by surprise because in a film you have to be able to root for the main character, and I guess in books it's a little different.
Yeah.
Like, and in film it's a little different too, but like I think in the majority of films need you to root for the person. And in books you're just like, no, I'm just gonna tell you a story about fucked up people.
Yeah.
And then like it's weird because like because the book starts and basically he's in a miserable situation and he's telling you how miserable he is. And then he's like, you know what, I was thinking that like if they need to go to the restroom I would just stop, let them get out the car, and then I would just keep going. I would drive to Disney World, come up with a new name and a new life, and they would never find me. And I'm just like, what's happening? And it's not like that. He wasn't kidding.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like if Lewis was kidding, like if he were just joking around, like, oh, like wouldn't that be hilarious? But no, he's like wholly serious. I'm gonna ask you this though. Have you been on many like family vacations, like family road trips?
When I was younger.
Okay.
You're like, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of what it feels like. I mean, obviously, like moving is a different thing, and especially like moving when you have a family. Like, I'm sure that's a whole different ball game. But like, just me from past experience, like just saying, like, yeah, there have been points where I'm just like, I'm just gonna like say I have to go to the bathroom, and then I'm just gonna like leave. I'm just gonna walk in another direction, and just like I'm done. I'm never going back. I'm not getting back in that car. I can make it here in this small town just outside of El Paso. Like
we're gonna go off topic again, but one time we were driving to Mexico, and like I threw up like outside of Laredo. And my parents were like, "Whoa, at least you're fine now." And then we kept going, and I'm like, "I just want to go home."
It's like it's out of my system, but I don't want to keep going. Turn around.
Like, no, I get that, and like, but especially when they arrive, even when they arrive, like, and I get that maybe he's still tired or whatever, like everyone's exhausted, but like his daughter like hurts her knee, and he's like, "Oh, little bitch, like stop." And
like it's not even that bad.
It's not that bad, and I'm like, "Oh my god, she's a little girl."
Yeah, it is. Like it's really weird, and it's kind of interesting that you say that like movies need to have their protagonists be likable. You know, you need to be able to root for them. And I feel like that's mostly true. I don't think Stephen King cares about making people like all that likable.
Yeah.
You know, like he kind of does a thing where like if Steven Spielberg tries to make like the most likable protagonist, or at least he tries to make the protagonist like likable enough with flaws. Stephen King almost does the reverse of like this is a very fucked up person, but they're a little endearing, and that's why we're following them. That's why they're the main character. Like, because Louis Creed definitely has some issues.
And I don't remember that in the movie, and it's not like you can back the movie out, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
I don't remember that being the case in the movie. I just remember liking everyone.
yeah.
And like my favorite King movie, I don't think you know that my favorite, like, even The Shining, even though I love The Shining, is Christine. My favorite King movie is Christine.
I love Christine. Yes.
Like, Christine is the best, and like in that movie, the main character is the worst the worst person in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like I love that movie. So it's great, and like reading that, yeah, it was weird and off putting, but it made me realize that this is totally different, and I really want to see this. And I liked when he had to go and cross the street to, like, what's his name, the older guy.
Judd.
Yeah, when he had to go see Judd, and he was like, "Oh, they're gonna ask me for medical advice because I'm a doctor."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, free medical advice. He was so upset, and he gets there, and they didn't ask him, and he's offended.
Yeah, he's just like, what? How dare they? I wholly expected them to ask for medical advice, and they didn't once ask me. That's rude.
That's so so weird. Like, not much happened, but I think it was pretty good setup. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
Yes, I do. So I thought it was I think it's interesting, and I really want to see where this goes. Like, the very first thing we find out about Lewis is that he lost his father, and he never knew his grandfather. So he grew up without a father figure, and I feel like that's kind of, this is his way of, like, interacting with the world. He has no frame of reference. And then so when he meets Judd, he's very much like that paternal figure that he's been searching for his whole life. You know, he even says so in the thing, and he's constantly like trying to find problems with Judd. You know, when they first meet, it's like, oh, like, yeah, you know, like, he's probably gonna ask me for like free medical advice or something, and then he doesn't. He's like, oh, okay, you know, and like, he has this vision of how this is gonna play out, and then it doesn't. It plays out exactly the opposite, and he falls in love with this man, and I'm like, okay. But this is a Stephen King book, so I know that this is probably going to get really twisted really fast at some point, or this relationship isn't going to go where I think it's going to go. So I'm really excited to find out where it goes.
And I started really liking the cat.
Mm-hmm. Church.
Like, I didn't even know that was his name. Like, I'd seen the movie like 4 times. I didn't know that was the cat's name.
Do they even say the name in the movie?
No idea. But I'm excited for the new movie, because the new movie, the cat looks like a great actor.
Is it like the cat that's on the cover of our book?
I think it's closer to this than the new movie was.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I like this cat. I like I like the way this book looks.
Yeah. And I like this edition too. I don't know what edition this is. It's from Pocket Books.
Yeah, in case people can't see, because you obviously can't see. It's the Pocket Books edition. The Pocket Books fiction, Stephen King. It's a paperback.
Mm-hmm.
It costs $10 in the U.S. We got it off of Amazon.
Mickey got it off of Amazon. I work at a bookstore, so I ordered.
Yeah, I got it off of Amazon.
Yeah. You're what's killing bookstores, good sir.
I am what's killing bookstores. I'm so sorry.
I can't believe this is why it's a literary society. You know. So yeah, I really like this edition. I like books that feel like this. I don't know. I prefer. I feel like it's a little more like vintage, a little kind of like a throwback to like probably when this book first came out. You know, it's probably about like the same size maybe. Yeah.
I think it's neat. If you guys haven't noticed, this is pretty laid back, and this is just gonna be. This is how it's gonna be. It's gonna be us talking. We don't really have a structure, and when things start happening and more in the book, then we'll have more to talk about. But it's pretty neat. Sam, since you haven't really seen the movie, I want to know, one, do you have any predictions? And like two, kind of like what do you know and like what can you infer?
So I know that when you bury things in the pet cemetery, that they come back. And I'm pretty sure this is me theory crafting, I guess. I'm pretty sure the cat church is gonna die, and Ellie's gonna be real sad about it. And so to kind of go through that whole grieving process or whatever, like, oh, and they mentioned like all the kids take this like secret like trail that leads to the pet cemetery. Pretty sure like either Ellie and Lewis or Ellie and like the other kids are gonna like bury the cat in the pet cemetery, and then Lewis is gonna kind of go about his life, and there's gonna be instances of like, hey, the cat's back. And so he's gonna be like, wait, that's really fucking weird, or he's gonna be like at first like, oh, like I could have swore I saw the cat, but like it's dead. I know it's dead. It's in the cemetery. And like, I also think that at some point somebody's gonna die, and like a person is gonna die, and they're gonna be buried in the cemetery. I feel like that's gonna happen. I don't know if that's gonna happen. Just answer me this: are all of the pets gonna like rise up and eat the town?
Okay,
I'm down to see like a parakeet eat someone's face. Like or read that a parakeet eats somebody's face.
So Sam, that does not happen in the book.
Damn it!
But that like, if I were to make a sequel to Pet Sematary, I think we've talked about this before. Mine would be, somebody comes in and tears down the trees, and they build like a shopping mall on top of the pet cemetery. And then like on opening day they go and like something happens and all the pets that were ever buried in the pet cemetery come alive, and it turns into the George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. With animals yes. And people are just stuck in the mall.
Dude, that'd be so cool. It's like George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, where like they're stuck in the mall. It's also like a thing against like capitalism, bad. That's literally the theme: capitalism, bad, and
deforestation, bad.
Deforestation, bad. But also have it injected with like the same kind of fun that Eight-Legged Freaks had when like the spiders attacked the mall. Because that movie's underrated, and we don't have enough like giant spider movies anymore. So yes, like, oh man, wouldn't that be crazy if you have like a snapping turtle rise out of like the ground in the mall, and it just slowly like is walking towards its victim and just like yeah.
What if there's like a crazy monkey, and people were like, who had a monkey as a pet? Who
had the monkey? Come on. Really? Parakeets we can understand. Snapping turtles? Sure.
I want to look through American history and be like, what were acceptable pets throughout time?
Yeah. And which could have been theoretically buried in this pet cemetery. And
like the helicopter's coming. Like the helicopter's coming to like rescue them. They see it and it's coming. And then like they go to the top of the building and they hear like a growl. And they turn around and it's like a fucking cheetah. And you're like, this is America. How is there a cheetah here?
And then that's the twist, is that for decades the zoo in Ludlow had also been burying like animals that had like died under mysterious circumstances or whatever. Or the animals they just put down, like Shamu or whatever. Not Shamu, because I don't know how that would work. But Or maybe. I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about this, that might actually be a really cool thing to see.
Yo, what if we
Uh,
get dinosaur bones and bury them in the pet cemetery?
okay, hang on. Oh, actually. Oh, man. But it would just come back as a skeleton, though, wouldn't it?
I don't know. I don't know how much they get. Like,
I don't know how the physiology and the physics of the pet cemetery works.
okay, we're gonna get Stephen King on this podcast. Stephen, my
Stephen King,
man,
if you're listening to this,
my man. If you're listening to this, we got some questions.
I need like a full tutorial about how the pet cemetery works. Not for my own purposes, obviously.
This is gonna be us on every podcast we ever do. We're just gonna be pitching things that
God,
nobody listens to,
I know.
and then
Nobody listens to it on Overexposed.
uh,
Why would they listen to it here in our book? They probably like, oh, they're talking about books. Finally, something I enjoy. Damn it! Now they're pitching sequels to.
now they're
To
pitching
pets.
sequels to books, and now it turned into Jurassic Park. Now we have a cinematic universe.
Yes. So Jurassic. So Ingen has been secretly burying dinosaurs that died under mysterious circumstances. But they're like the
That's what was in the aerosol can. The aerosol
Yeah.
can was just it was dirt from the pet cemetery.
so but these are also like they're like the freaks that like they survived like the stages, but they like I don't know, they have like 3 arms or something, and or it was like a failed attempt to do like a T-Rex and a Triceratops, and now it's just a weird lumpy thing, and you know what, we're just gonna euthanize it and bury it in the pet cemetery, and no one's gonna know about it.
I like your thing about the zoo.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it there before we somehow connect this to like the Universal horror monsters.
Oh, the Wolfman. No, I'm kidding. Just stop.
Okay, so we might read the next 7 chapters, we might not. Whatever. We you have to come back and see. We'll figure it out, right, Sam?
Well, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Because like
I mean, I don't know.
originally we had like this really weird schedule of reading it. We had like we were supposed to cover chapters 1 and 2 this meeting, and then we read chapters 1 and 2, and it's basically 5 pages.
It's like 3 or 4 pages, and I was like, oh, well, I'm just gonna keep reading.
So we'll just keep going. So we'll see you guys next time. If you need to get the book, read the book. Just follow along with us. We don't have a Twitter or Facebook for this because we don't want to do that. But you can, if you want to talk to us, you can catch me at the Mickey M.
You can catch me at Real Texas Weirdo. That's REEL Texas Weirdo.
I don't know how to end this, so I'm just gonna copy what Hunter says. Just keep reading books. No, yeah, keep enjoying books. Keep reading books. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.